There you are, bucko. Welcome back to another thrilling installment of the most disturbing videos on the internet today. Remember, for context, these videos are strictly for entertainment purposes only. Don't believe everything you hear or see on this video. Some things may resonate with you, some things might not. That's okay. That's what we do on these waters. Eat the meat and spit out the bones. With that being said, let's dive in.
Cracker Barrel unveiled that its new logo would go from this to this. Many of the right blaming wokeness tonight. Donald Trump Jr. posted earlier, WTF is wrong with Cracker Barrel. But it's not just the right who seems to be outraged, because tonight, the official handle for the Democrats is posting, we think the Cracker Barrel rebrand sucks too. A lot of the frustration here has to do with the company abandoning a core part of its aesthetic, that old country farm. Knickknacks on top of a fireplace, vintage photos, farm tools on the walls. The loyal customers, the new logo just screams corporate. Why do you think people become so emotionally invested in the logo?
A logo at the beginning starts as an empty glass, and over time it's filled with meaning. And another name for that is brand equity. But for most people like you and I, it's nostalgia. You build this nostalgia over time. Every commercial, every time you hear that name, and that logo dwells up all that. And so when you make a big change like this, you run the risk of losing all that brand equity.
Put the racism back in the logo. Y'all messing up Cracker Barrel. Nobody asked for this, man. That's one place you could leave it just like it is. I need to feel the Confederacy in there, man. Where's Robert E. Lee, man? Let's get these statues back up. The South shall rise again. I don't want this woke crap. What DEI hire made this logo? This is terrible. Robert E. Lee is rolling over in his grave right now. You just want to welcome everybody down to the barrel? Nah, man. You need to feel like you don't belong. That's what makes the edges of the pancake crispy. It's racism. This Chip and Joanna logo, Food Network. My this woke crap. Go woke, go broke. I won't be going back down to Cracker Barrel until they put the old logo back.
He out cold for that. I used to love Cracker Barrel growing up. That's the only place I wanted to go. If you asked me when I was a kid till I was 16, where do you want to go to eat? It was either Old Country Buffet or Cracker Barrel. They had those giant checkers you could play. You just run around looking at all the knickknacks. He said it looks like you ain't supposed to be there. Oh my God, that is terrible. The people in the comments are diabolical. He said, I need to taste the Are You Lost Boy pancakes. Oh, this is outrageous. One person said the food tastes better knowing I don't belong there. Oh my God. Y'all funny. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Man, if you're enjoying this video, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. It helps your boy out, and I try to edit out all the curse words because I don't want any of that negativity floating out in your living room. Let's get back to it, y'all.
What you're looking at right here is the Chronicles of Georgia, and until today, I didn't even know this existed. Now, this looks like an Iron Age mystery, but it was actually built in 1985. 6 of stone and bronze, telling Georgia's stories of Christianity and the royals. There even seems to be depictions of some sort of Anunnaki figures on these structures. Of course, this is my own individual observation, but you can see some very interesting figures. Obviously, we see Jesus on the cross. We see some royals and all that stuff, but there is some, like I said, Anunnaki looking figures like this. Now, there's another theory that this is an ancient structure and they just said that they built it in 1985 and used cranes and all that stuff, but who knows? I'm not 100% sure. I never believe what I hear from the mainstream, but if anyone has any, information on, the Chronicles of Georgia, let us know in the comments down below. And as always, like, share, and follow for more hidden truth. Peace and love. What you're looking at
Chronicles of Georgia. Look how massive this is. Those are the size of the people, and that's how big it is. I wonder if this is in like Georgia, USA. There's no way. Let's type it in and see where it's at. Chronicles of Georgia location. It's open 24 hours. You can go see it at night. Add it to the bucket list.
We've been told old chimneys were built for smoke. But what if they were never meant for fire at all? Inside Tartarian homes, the fireplaces weren't stoves. They were circuits. The rooftop domes and metal poles acted like antennas, pulling invisible energy from the ether. This charge flowed into an iron rebar hidden in the walls, which carried the energy down into the chimney. At the heart was a metal backplate inside the fireplace, ionizing the air itself, creating a pressurized electric vacuum. In winter, the chimney was closed. Energy built up inside the chamber. The ornate metalwork around the fireplace acted as capacitors, radiating warmth into the room. Heat spread through hidden ventilation ducts, moving from the chimney into every corner of the house. In summer, the chimney was opened. The same ether charge reversed the system, pulling hot air out of the rooms like an ancient air conditioner. But researchers suggest even stranger uses. The chimneys may have been charging stations, where crystal or gas-filled lamps were recharged in the etheric field. Others believe they were healing units, sending resonant frequencies throughout the house, and some even whisper of molecular transportation. Tartarians stepping into giant chimneys, dematerializing and traveling through the ether itself. Now we're...
Damn, that reminds me of that Harry Potter. We all seen Harry Potter, right? Well, they used to portal through chimneys. Harry Potter transport chimney. Look at this. They're in chimneys, y'all. We all seen this. Let me blow this up so y'all can see this. Look how they're going through chimneys. What a correlation. It's almost like they have to tell us and show it in our face and make us think it's science fiction. But what if they really were doing that? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. What an excellent correlation. I remember this part. Diagonally. And then he dropped that flame. What did he say? I think he said diagonally.
Were these just fireplaces? Or were they a complex heating and cooling system powered by a forgotten energy networks?
And if you look, who's going to put wood in there? Look at how spectacular these chimneys are. And I believe a lot of them in the inside had crazy engravings. Look at the inside of this fireplace. You know, there's nothing to catch. There's nothing going up. There's no chimney. You know, it makes you think. Look at these fireplaces. I'm not about to throw no wood in there. I'm conducting ether. Are they portaling through these things? Diagonally. Are they hitting that diagonally? Look at these cathodes that go on the outside of the fireplace. Were these batteries they could transport? Was it their source of internet or TV? What is this? You could definitely walk through that one. Fireplaces that do not burn wood. How extremely fascinating. Not only are those fireplaces strange, these having no toilets is definitely... Not only is those fireplace subs... Not only is the fireplace... Not only were those fireplace suspect, having no toilets is definitely strange. Let's dive a little deeper on that.
Notre Dame Cathedral, the Windsor Castle, St. Stephen's Cathedral in Vienna, Austria, the Cologne Cathedral, the Tower of London, and Edinburgh Castle. They all have one massive thing in common. What is it? All of these places having this one thing that shows that the mainstream history is not giving us the full picture, and it's not even close. Massive palaces all over the world, constructed with perfection, and not one of these structures was built with a toilet. We are told that humans could ride on their donkeys without a light bulb and without a road, and construct palaces in every single country. yet they had to go to the bathroom in their yard and wipe with a leaf. No, we're living in the ruins of the previous civilization. A civilization that either didn't use toilets at all, or this group of people were so advanced that they used a form of plumbing and sanitation that is completely misunderstood to us today. A way to remove the waste so that it's not inside your house. It was repurposed by the people who came after. What was repurposed? Not the toilets, because they didn't have any. So many of these structures, in my opinion, are repurposed, and they now need a toilet. We have shown that by using the organ in these cathedrals, it resonates with the bones below the floors. We are told that humans built the Milan Cathedral but couldn't figure out how to manage human waste. We are told that they just put their waste in the streets. They tell us that they dumped it out of the windows with a bucket and wiping with their hand. This is the story. This doesn't translate to constructing perfect palaces with architectural designs that blow our minds today. Now, thinking logically, if you could build this, and this with perfection, zero mistakes, and they're still here today, then you would be able to design a sewer system that we use today. And we all know it. No running water, yet constructing granite with precision. If you don't have running water, it's incredibly dangerous for the entire population. You have filth everywhere. Diseases. Nobody is bathing. And according to the mainstream history, we are all told that ancient Rome, Greece, Mesopotamia, and the Indus Valley, they all had running water, public baths. The Romans supposedly had aqueducts, underground sewage. All of this over 2,000 years ago. This is what we are told. And then the year 500 hits. And that technology, it just vanishes. It's just gone. Nobody has running water anymore. No pipes and no baths. Just ragging themselves off over in the pond. And this carries all the Milan Cathedral.
Shout out to my lunch break for exposing the lies. Once you know the secret, keep your mouth shut.
Once you know this secret, keep your mouth shut. There's a certain kind of knowledge that doesn't belong to the noise of the world. Once you possess it, speaking about it only weakens it. It's the kind of truth that reshapes how you see people, pain, power, and yourself. And the moment you understand it, really understand it, you'll feel the urge to share it, to prove you're awakened, to show the world what you've realized. But that urge is the first test. Seneca once said, "The first step toward mastering a desire is to expose it." But not every truth is meant to be exposed. Some truths are forged in fire, meant to live in silence, because silence, not speech, is what preserves their power. So what is this secret? It's the realization that people aren't what they say. They're what they hide, the masks they wear, the smiles that are too quick, the compliments that come too easily. The crowd loves flattery, but flattery is rarely love. It's a weapon, or a warning. We live among actors, but once you see the script, once you catch the rhythm behind their rehearsed lines, you are no longer part of the play. You become something else, a watcher, a listener, a man of silence, and that's when the danger begins. Not for you, but for them, because they sense you're no longer deceived. You no longer dance to the tune they play. You've pulled the curtain back, and you saw the machinery. Marcus Aurelius warned, "The opinion of 10,000 men is of no value if none of them know the truth." And once you know the truth, you realize how few actually do.
The blind leading the blind, surely they'll fall into a ditch.
So you remain still, you observe, you withhold judgment, you wait. And when they press you to speak, when they beg for your opinion, when they try to pull the truth from you, you give them silence. Not because you're afraid, but because you understand this. The man who truly sees speaks last, or not at all. We, those who walk this path, we don't trade truth for applause. We don't use insight as a tool to elevate our egos. We use it to build fortresses. fortresses made of self-control, of emotional stillness, of clarity in chaos. Because the moment you speak, you give others the power to twist what you know, to challenge what you've seen, to manipulate your clarity into confusion. So we don't speak to be understood. We master ourselves to become undeniable. And that is the secret. One that, once known, must be protected with silence. Mastering the secret of silence means mastering your own desires. Epictetus taught us that it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Speaking out impulsively is surrendering control. It is letting the storm inside you dictate the storm outside. But when you hold your tongue, you break that cycle. Silence becomes your shield against rash emotion. It is the calm eye in the hurricane of human chaos. By choosing silence, you show that no insult, no praise, no gossip can pull the strings of your mind. And when your enemies try to rattle you, they find only an unbreakable wall. We who walk this path know this well. To master silence is to master yourself. Silence guards your inner fortress from unnecessary battles. Seneca warned that the greatest remedy for anger is delay. By choosing silence, we delay the impulse to respond, allowing clarity to surface from the fog of emotion. When we speak less, we reveal more strength. Strength to endure, strength to observe, strength to choose our battles wisely. This restraint is not weakness. It is the greatest demonstration of power. We do not need to prove ourselves to the world. Our silence becomes the unspoken command that demands respect. In this quiet, the seeds of true victory take root. Silence is the storm that never warns, yet always strikes. When a man chooses silence, he becomes unreadable, and in that unreadability lies fear. The world fears what it cannot predict. Those who wish to manipulate you depend on your reactions, but when you respond with nothing, you starve them of power. Epictetus said, "Any person capable of angering you becomes your master." We refuse to be mastered. We are not here to entertain chaos. We are here to master it. Through silence, we break their illusion of control, and that breaks them. Let them speak. Let them scream. We remain unmoved.
Do not throw your pearls before swine, or they will trample you.
They thought they could bury this. They thought we would never find this. But I got the shovel. Let's dig. Do you know who this man is? Because when you find out, you'll understand that the world already ended. Comment below if you think you know, but I'm telling you, you have no idea. Don't cheat. Most people are still waiting for the Antichrist, waiting for the white horseman. But what if he already came, dressed in white, crowned with a holy title, claiming divine authority to conquer the world? This isn't myth. This isn't just prophecy. I'm giving you abstract history. This one decree written in 1455 claimed to give European elites the divine right to erase nations, conquer and enslave the world. Romanus Pontifex. And this was the man who signed it. He was a pope who claimed that he had the right to claim the globe and the earth as the representative of Christ on earth. Revelation says the first horseman wears a crown, carries a bow with no arrow, and he rides out to conquer. See, many thought it would sound like Christ, but that's ironic because this describes the Antichrist. The white horseman isn't Christ, but the imposter, or what some would call the Antichrist. Who killed Christ? The Roman, who took Christ's story, rebranded it, and turned it into an empire. The Romans again, but this time it wasn't called an empire, it was called a church. A spirit is not a ghost, a spirit is an essence, and an essence is a collection of attributes that make something what it is. What are the collection of attributes of the white horseman? Claims to be in the image of Christ, bringing salvation, but actually brings conquest, war, and conquering, enslavement. The Roman Empire didn't die, it converted. The white robes replaced red flags. The cross replaced the sword. And in that name, they took land and stole people and then rewrote history. You still think this is symbolism? Family, these are signed papers. The papal bull, issued like law, blessed by popes, carried out by kings, backed by the Vatican. Then they created the doctrine of discovery. It is the legal foundation for conquered lands to this day. So what do you call it when the elites of a population less than 5% of the earth, less than 8% of the earth, takes over 80% of the world, claiming to come in the image of Christ? You call it revelation. You call it the white horseman. So who was this? Pope Nicholas and Pope Alexander. But many of you still don't believe me. Comment the name of the first slave ship. You'll believe. This is a loop that will keep happening as long as we're in this devouring matrix called civilization.
The papal bull. That's not the first time I heard about that. What is that? Well, I don't know how true those pillars are that they found under it, but it could be possible it's a diamond, and then they have these cylindrical tubes below the diamond. But it is definitely an interesting theory. It is also an interesting theory how those black tubes go all the way down to the black sun, but that's for another video.
Why is Rada Egypt Tresman and Craigmont shaped like a shaped like a pyramid on the actual map? They designed this on purpose, y'all. This is biblical grounds. And there was another school called Kingsbury. And Kingsbury mean basically you forfeited the king's land. So look at this, the pharaohs, you know what I'm saying? Tresman color was purple and gold, which is royalty. And then the chiefs, Craigmont, I went there one year and I went to Rada Egypt. You know, they showing us our history. So the Rothschilds found the sudden sensation of discovery of emerging new landscape. And they bought the rights to interpret Egyptian culture that the Europeans could interpret it how they wanted to. I mean, here go the actual check that they wrote, you know what I'm saying, for this whole thing. And they bought the lion's share. I mean, they got the lion's share to do cartoons, movies. That's why Michael Jackson couldn't do nothing. He didn't own the Egyptian image. You know what I'm saying? Here go a warrior from Egypt, Tennessee. Tipton County, huh? But there's a Shelby County in Egypt too. Everything was Egypt. And during that World War I, what could you do? You could ship artifacts from where you found it to interpret what? Culture. Look at the inside of this school. My school. They got black pharaohs with the 3 pyramids of Giza. Giza didn't exist back then. It was only Memphis. So Voltaire, that's the street that is on. He a real person who believe in Egyptian culture and deism. So they telling us, y'all, without telling us, it's up to us to take culture back.
Playing the Egyptian rites is crazy.
So I was in my car and I was cruising. I was trying to upload a video. For some reason, I was having problems uploading the video. I just couldn't get any 5G. So I started driving for a minute, just trying to look for a tower. And I just couldn't find a tower no matter what I did in this neighborhood. So eventually I saw these guys walking by and I said, yo, y'all get service around here? And they was like, nah, we don't get no service. I said, why not? He said, the rich people in this area, they made it so that they couldn't put up 5G towers. I said, what? He said, yeah, they oppose the 5G towers. They don't want the 5G towers around here. They feel like it messes with their, messes with the energy, it messes with the aesthetics, and it messes with their property value. I was like, what? So yeah, man, rich people is out here in specific towns just saying, yo, we don't want 5G towers over here because they kinds of shit. Meanwhile, they put these, affluent communities oppose installation of 5G towers. Talking about aesthetic concerns and the scenic, the historic districts, and so on and so forth.
That makes sense because if you drive down Indiana, they have like a whole bunch of windmills. And I thought it was kind of cool at first. But when I was talking to people, they were like, yeah, man, these windmills are a nuisance, you know, they block our sky, you know, and what happens when they're done using these windmills? They're just going to be stuck here. And I was like, dang, I didn't think about that.
Then the homeowners, you know, they're worried about the negative impact on their property value. Meanwhile, they'll just put these motherfuckers up in everybody else's neighborhood. And I thought y'all just want to know that because they just put these things all over the place, put ugly costumes on them, and just put them just about anywhere. But when the mind's blind,
The eyes can't see. These are all
All right, these are all camouflaged 5G tower. Wow, they put the cross, the flag poles of 5G tower, a chimney, water tower. Don't say it ain't so. Wow, look at that tree. Draco Reptilian, of course. Reminds me of that Men in Black episode where they trying to tell us, or movie, the first one. He said his eyes blink 2 different ways. All right, what do we have here? Mercury Rogue? What does that mean? Some type of mercury battery. What is that, mercury? It's conducting. What is that little red ball? Why do they do that? Are they just showing the conductivity? This looks like some type of Russian mercury battery. Garlic's gonna repel. How strange. And it's turning. I wonder if the water stays like that. What is it turning? Why is that water turning red? What is it? And I wonder if it stays like that. And that's all we have for today's video. If you made it this far, the code word is Cracker Barrel. Go ahead and drop Cracker Barrel for the code word. When you do that, that lets me know you're a real one. You made it all the way through the video, and I just want to say thank you, man. I appreciate your guys' support. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button on your way out. This was the most disturbing videos on the internet today. See you later.